Yo, what's good, everybody? Sade Bailey here, or as most know me as Chunk the Deuce in the fantasy community, in the gaming community. Some might know me as Little Deuce in the rapping community, but we won't go there right now. But today, we're gonna introduce you to a little thing called college football daily fantasy sports. Now, some of you may not know this even exists, especially in this great state of Texas of ours. We had it banned for a little while, but it is back, and it has been back. And if you are not in the streets, well, that's why we are here today. I'm going to introduce you to these streets. College football, the land of the unknown, right? We have grad students in the stands telling you who's on the field. That's probably an issue, right? Well, I'm here to do the research for you. Today we're going to go over a little bit of contest selection. What actually should you enter if you do, venture into this world? We're going to go to Draftkings. We're going to check out the Underdog streets as well. They have battle royales if you prefer to draft your teams in the fantasy format. That's more than welcome on their site. And we're going to end this thing by making a little parlay after we go over the plays, of course, of the week. So let's jump right into it. We got our Draftkings lobby right here. And this is kind of where it begins, right? These tournaments, for instance, $20 entry fee. That's a lot. I'll let y'all know right now, I do not have the funds to enter these big boy tournaments. And as you can tell, $50K up top. That's awesome, right? But it's also not so awesome, because if you look down here and if you get 10th place out of these 8,823 entries, you only get $500. 20 turning into 500, that's obviously fun, but when you're maxing this bad boy, that $500 doesn't get you too far, right? So I'll get into those tournaments, every now and then, or if I hit big, I might get a little aggressive, but this is my bread and butter right here, and they usually do a good job of keeping this prize pool to about $1,000 up top. And what you want to look for is this 10th place, right? Usually if you get a 10% of this first place prize, that's kind of where the bread and butter's at, right? You max this tournament, for instance, $4, it's 20 max, that's $80. If you happen to get one inside the top 10, kind of tough, but a little more, possible with 3,000 entries, you already make $20, right? And if you get lucky and you hit that big one, which I've been lucky too before, that's where it pays off, right? And you can pay your entries fees for weeks and weeks to come. So GPP, big tournaments, that's where I like to go. 20 max. I'll spend $100 on a weekend, get as many variations and lineups as my preferences goes, and that's kind of where we work. Also, $1 is very, very nice. $1,000 up top, a little more to compete with, but once again, that $100, you're getting 10%, another great tournament. So just something to look out for. I'm also big into these qualifiers. As you can see, there's not a lot of action on this opening week. They're going to try to get their best ball tournaments filled, right, for football, basketball, their opening day. They're gonna try to get as many NFL tickets as you can out there before their season starts. So keep an eye on this. They'll have tournament qualifiers for their big tournaments. That's where I like to max enter those, and little 10-cent shots at it. You throw in 20 lineups, you throw in 10-cent lineups for each one of those 20. That's an extra $2, right? Why not? You get a $20 ticket for 10 cents. So enough of that. We'll look into this weather real quick. Another crucial part. You won't get many weather updates for college football. Kind of got to grind yourself. Luckily, weather game is that early game. Don't have to worry about it. A lot of sun. End it in 95-degree weather in the Death Star. So we're not even worried about that at all. So moving along. Just a good start to the slate. I like to go to Underdog. This is Battle Royale draft, so they'll have one every week for college football. And as you can see here, these green guys are running backs, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 running backs in the top 11 picks here by ADP, right? Underdog, this is half point PPR, of course. Underdog, stresses getting running backs because they're probably going to get you the most points. But just an outlook on the slate, we have one quarterback up here, right? Next quarterback doesn't go till 2 rounds in, right? So consider that when we're building lineups. Where are the receivers at? We have 3 receivers that go in the top 12 picks. Barely anything, right? We don't start seeing receivers till later. So this is kind of an idea of what we're looking at. Let's go into the slate. Let's see what we got here. Starting off the slate, we have San Jose State going to USC. As you can see here, this is kind of a little spreadsheet I built. The team total here is 60. I'll probably start maneuvering some stuff around, massaging this, seeing how it works. But as you can see here, this first column is team total. San Jose with a whopping 11 of them bad boys. 11 total points is what they're scored compared to 49.5. USC, the money's still going their way. The total's dropping a little bit, but this will be a team to target, right? San Jose State, not so much. Luke Weaver in the helms, nothing special there. We're not getting much out of San Jose State. They do have a minimum price wide receiver in Jordan Anderson. If you think they're going to be competitive at all, maybe they're going to be throwing the ball a lot down, so many points, Jordan Anderson might be a nice little run back. Obviously, the team to talk about here, and probably one of the highest team totals on the slate. It is one of the highest team totals on the slate. 49.5. They're going to score a good 50 burger to start the season off. And, how are they going to do it, right? Jordan Mava, one of the best QBs on the slate. If you want to spend up $9K, how much are they going to put the foot on the pedal? We don't really know. They have a 2-headed monster in running backs with Waymon Jordan and King Miller. King Miller will be the starter, but they should both get a bunch of carries. King Miller we might talk about here later. Just a stud, man. I mean, they're getting 20 totes at the pop, each of them, if good game scripts, which we're probably going to see today. So this is my GPP exposure. As you can see, very low over here. A few players I'm very high on. The passing game, obviously they can score however they want. Tanook Hines will be running in the slot. Stud receiver, 7,500. You're going to have to pay for him. Terrell Anderson, I think he might be the play on the slate. One of the best plays on the slate. He'll be playing the outside. He is a monster. 3,900. They can pick their poison. I think he's a great price, great value. So you can see these ADPs are from Underdog. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players in the top 20 ADP. They're 6-person drafts. So we're looking at all in the 3rd round these guys are going. So Mark Bowman is their tight end. Tight ends are unfortunately have to be picked on Battle Royale Underdog, so you'll see him go probably as your first tight end off the board. But right off the gate, we have Fireworks, USC, a targetable team. Game 2, NC State versus Virginia, going to UVA, 53.5 over-under, another good total on the game, one of the more competitive games on the slate. We have CJ Bailey on the helms. He will run it a little bit, not a huge runner, but he's not afraid to put it on the ground. He usually ends up in positive rushing games. Jaden Scott, another great running back, a good teammate of his. They like to pound the rock, and they do it well. Jaden Scott, great year last year, came back. As you can see, he's in the 1st round of ADP. He's going to get the ball a lot. Victor Snow, their number 1 wide receiver. As you can tell, he's not a huge priority on Underdog. CJ Bailey will throw it, but they do like to pound the rock. So CJ Bailey snack to Snow. The stack, obviously you want to stack in college football, very important. Stacking QB to one of their receivers. If either one of those succeeds, you would believe they would take their partner with them. Davion Dozier, JoJo Trader in the slot. Little cheaper, less production out of those guys. Preston Douglas, Keenan Jackson round out that receiver core. I think I'm sticking to Snow if I'm going anywhere with NC State, and Jaden Scott as well. Virginia, Prabula, he's going to be the QB this year for the Virginia. What are they? I don't even know what they are. The Mountaineers. There's something orange and blue. They're here to fight this year. They're 29.5 points team total. They're going to score some points, and it's going to start with this man right here, Jaquel Middlebrook. He is a transfer, and this man puts up fantasy points. They're going to want to run it through him. Peyton Lewis is their running back, too. He'll get some carries as well, but this team's going to go as far as Middlebrook goes, and he'll tote that thing. So I think he's a great play at 6K, 29.5 team total. They're scoring 4 touchdowns. He's probably getting a couple of them. Jaquan Gibson is the man that I will be stacking him with. Gibson, a solid play. I believe he runs out of the slot, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, he's the outside receiver. Courtney will be running out of the slot. He's pretty cheap, but he's not getting drafted. Deshaun Martin also will be an outside receiver. He is injured, though, and he's questionable for the game, so you're just going to have to keep an eye out on his status. But Jaquan Gibson, 4,400, I think a great price. Also goes late in these underdog drafts. I think he's good value. He could be added on to late wide receiver builds. Dakota Twitty will be working the tight end slot. Decent play, but I think your main focuses here are probably the running backs on both sides, and Snow if you're going in the receiving game on the NC State side, and I like Gibson a lot at 4,400 over here for UVA. Next game on the slate, Jacksonville State going up against the North Dakota State Bison. Both teams moving up this year, get a little taste of D1 football. We've seen the Bison come through Frisco more than not, and it'll be good to see them compete. However, I will not be watching them compete in fantasy focus, at least. I'll probably watch this game on the side, but as you can see, 46.5, lowest over-under on the slate. The total keeps going down. This is pretty much a fade on both sides. Caden Creel is kind of someone to watch for. He basically leads the slate in rushing. It's him and Ashton Daniels, who rush about 80 yards per game, and he'll run that thing. He can't pass it too great, but when he does pass it, my man DeAndre Johnson's the one he's going to throw it to, right? Probably some low ADOT stuff, but Johnson, that man catch fire. He's got some good game logs. Nothing too special, but if Creel gets some rushing touchdowns and DeAndre Johnson catches one in the air at 5,200, kind of expensive, but I think it could be worth a dart throw. Caden Creel, he can bust into rushing easily. Jalen Likely, also a very great value on the slate. He's their starting running back at $4,100. As you can see here, they have a few other running backs listed, but I don't see Christian Lando anywhere on the depth chart. Cedric Kouimi, I think he's their freshman. I think he's backing up Likely, but the money's coming in on Jacksonville State, and I think that they could maybe pull off the upset, and if they do, it's probably going to be on the ground game with Likely and Creel. So keep an eye on that. North Dakota State side, Nathan Hayes, he rushes it a little bit, but not enough to get a high ceiling out of 7K. They're pounding the rock with DJ Scott. He is the favorite in this game, and they're projected to score a couple touchdowns, 3 to be exact, and a field goal. So not a horrible play, probably will be low owned. DJ Scott, if you're 6,900, pretty expensive. I think I'm going to pass. Sacramento State going to Eastern Michigan. 52.5 team total, or over-under here today in this battle between the dark green squads. I haven't been too familiar with Sacramento State. Had to look up their color schemes, and here they are, green and a yellow that I found out. They're another team that's moved up in the ranks, so they're here, getting their first little dose of D1 football, and they're projected to score 21 on the slate, kind of on the lower end. I think full fade for me, probably. Conklin, nothing special. Jamar Curtis, 6,800 in a dog environment. They're probably going to force it to him, but I'm probably good on that. Some scrappers and receivers. As you can tell, none of them are chosen on the Battle Royale streets. 0 ADP for all of them. Jordan Williams down here. Nah, I think I'm good. He's their tight end, so he will see some ADP on Underdog just because you have to pick one. I think I'm pretty much a full fade on Sac State. Eastern Michigan, however, is a little different. My man Noah Kim right here, he's going to be a great play. 7,400, 31.5 basically points expected. They're gonna sling the rock. They have a couple running backs. Braden Bennett is the most expensive one, and he's listed as it's like third on the depth chart. They basically split carries between Joey Mattert and Amarion Blue, so I'm probably good on that. If you get lucky and one of them falls in the end zone a couple times, you might do all right there, but they're both kind of expensive, and Noah Kim runs the ball a little bit too. He's not an extreme rusher, but he rarely gets negatives in the rushing game, and obviously in college football, if you get sacks, that accounts towards your rushing stats in the negative form, obviously. So dual threat. He's got Nick Devereaux out of the slot. He's put up some big games in his career. So I think he's kind of the go-to guy. Harold Mack will be playing on the outside, and Joshua Long's their tight end. Two other great value plays, 46, 42. I mean, Nick Devereaux, get him for under 5K. I think that's a great stack. Noah Kim, add one or two of these passing catchers, and I think you can get a good amount of these points through those through the players in both the passing game and the QB. I think Noah Kim's one of the better values on the slate, and if he can use both his legs and arms, I think he can really make a difference on the slate. I didn't get his ADP. Let's see where he goes on Underdog. So 31. So there's 6 people getting drafted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Last QB. I think that's a great value, right? I mean, and you could even tell. I mean, his projected points, 21.8. I mean, he's third on the slate, right? Second on the slate in points. So I think he's great value, good price. Play some Noah Kim. All right, New Mexico State, Florida State. This is the other big blowout game on the slate. We have 11 projected points for New Mexico State. This is also one that keeps going. The betting lines keep going in Florida State's direction. The total's lowering a little bit, but you can tell over here I don't have much interest in New Mexico State. Trey Hedden, he's not going to give you any rushing. I'm good on that. I'm not picking a running back on a team that's supposed to score 11 points. TK King's a solid wide out. 5,300 though. It's kind of tough. He'll be running out of the slot, so he can get some easy catches. Full point PPR, obviously on Draftkings. You can fight for your life and get 12 fantasy points, which is probably what TK King's going to get you. 5,300. I'm probably good on that. Florida State, the team you need to look for, obviously. Ashton Daniels, the transfer from Auburn. He was their backup, kind of got in at the end of the year, kind of proved himself. He can run that thing. He's the highest rushing yards per game on the slate at about 80. So, dual threat. He's got some receivers, and he's got one that might be one of the best in the nation. And Chunk the Deuce Robinson, my man, won a lot of money playing him last year. He came back. he's going to be a monster. Wide receiver 1 on the slate. He goes number 1 in battle royales most times out of not. Deuce Robinson, get him in your lineups. Mekhi Doozy, the Danzy, also another great play. He'll be on the outside. Javon Boggs will be in the slot. Desario Riles, the tight end. I mean, all targets, honestly. I could have probably wrote a couple more guys in because they're scoring 41 points according to Vegas, and they might not be playing in the fourth quarter, right? So you get some of these young guys in there late, scores out of hand. We get some rushing touchdowns. Wisner, the transfer from UT, he's solid. Usman Chroma, the true sophomore, I think he's a stud. 7,400. I don't think that's really expensive enough. He'll probably get $1 and a tub easy, you would think. Depending on how much they split this, they're going to want to get some looks at Wisner, the transfer, right? Who knows who's playing in the fourth quarter. If you get a competitive game, obviously one of these run backs would be awesome, but I think I'm all Florida State here tonight. Hawaii, Stanford. Hawaii, 22.5 basically on their team total. 48.5 over under, the second lowest on the slate. Not the best game, but as you can see here, it is competitive. 2.5 point spread. These teams are going to fight. Alejado, he's coming back. Great price on him, 6,500. I think he's a good value play on the slate. Cheapest quarterback that you can probably go to. The issue is who are you going to stack it with, right? If you're familiar with this Hawaii offense, you are very familiar with Mr. Ashlock, who always seems to have the Q tag on him, and didn't practice basically all spring, didn't do anything in the, within their wide receiver group, so he hadn't been on the field. But when the man is on the field, he puts up numbers, right? He has put up 40s. I mean, you look at his game log; it is impressive. He lines up on the outside, but they move him everywhere. If he's playing at 4,600, that's an absolute steal. This Hawaii game is a little bit later on the slate. They do play at 6 o'clock Central, so it's going to be tough waiting around to seeing who plays. Luckily, they're locked in with Florida State, and we of course got that game in the Death Star later on. But something to keep an eye on if he's not out there, and you're going to have to depend on a Hawaii beat reporter. And actually, their guy is pretty good if I remember correctly, but it's tough, right? There's not an injury report policy, right? You have to really grind to get this news. So type his name into Twitter, refresh. That's how I play the game. I think that's really the only way to do it. If he's in there, play him. Audric Harris might fill the role. Doesn't have that high ceiling as him, but they might just pound it, right? Cam Barfield, 5,800. Pretty good price, honestly. He's their stud. Devon Rice, he'll be backing him up. But I think Barfield worth maybe a look, especially if Ashlock ends up missing. Davis Warren on the other side, not a dual threat at all. He'll be throwing it around Mr. Caden High on the outside. But one of the better value plays on the slate is Mr. Nico Brown. There is 2 Browns, so make sure you're clicking the right one. But Nico Brown will be your slot receiver for Stanford, and he might be one of the best values on the slate. 3K. You can see he's getting drafted in the Battle Royale streets. I think he's good value for a team that's going to score, over 26 points. So, but I do think the best play on this team is Micah Ford. 6,300 workhouse running back. He has the highest rushing prop on the slate. We will see that here later. He's their workhorse, and they're going to want to run the ball, and Hawaii traditionally does not have the greatest defense, and they like to throw it a lot too, so they could be getting quick 3 and outs, and it could just be Michael Ford's season all night. 11.7 ADP, you're not getting him past the second round. He's a stud. Put him in your lineups. And the late night hammer, the last game on the slate, we have Memphis going to UNLV, playing in the Death Star, like I said. a 56.5 over and under. 26 implied points for Memphis. And, just when you think this is going to have all the good plays, you look in here and you don't have much, right? I've only got 2 green labels on a few of these guys. And the main issue here is we don't have a starting QB on either side. I believe they said Marcus Stokes will be the quarterback, but I do not know if that's confirmed yet. I've seen it kind of both ways. Aaron Nolan, he's the big recruit, right? He went to Ohio State. He's got the pedigree. Marcus Stokes, he comes from, I believe, West Florida, D2 school. Put up some numbers, can rush it a little bit, but it's going to be tough to say and put a guy in your lineup when a game starts at 9 p.m. and you don't know if they're even going to play, right? So both sides quarterback, I think, is off the table for me unless I hear something confirmed. On this other side, we have Jackson Arnold, Alex Orji, Michigan transfer, Auburn transfer. They like Arnold. Apparently, he's going to get the start. If you want to take a shot, I think he's your guy on a quarterback from this game, but it's pretty risky. Quarterback to running back, we have Mr. Delon Hayden, transferred from Colorado. He should be getting your start. Somehow he's not on Underdog, which is ridiculous. 5,400, pretty good price. Not a bad team total. Obviously, UNLV not really known for their defense. I think he's a sneaky play. Can maybe get a couple touchdowns in a shootout, right? Tyshawn Chapman will be their wide receiver 1. Kluse runs it out of the slot. Tipton's their tight end. You could see the Tipton ADP. He is a tight end, so he'll get drafted there. Chapman, nothing really special. I think he's from Southern Miss. I think a Green School before that. Marshall, I believe. He might be all right. I think at 4,100, I think he's got some upside, right? If one of these quarterbacks wants to step up and have a day, I think Chapman's probably the guy he goes to. So I'm pretty high on Chapman in a high-scoring game, good game environment. Give me a couple catches. Let's see if we can return some value, Mr. Tyshawn Chapman. On the other side might be the play of the slate in Jaden Thomas, 7,800, workhorse back, 30-point implied total. They're going to pound it. They don't know who's playing QB, but they know who's running that thing. Give the ball to Jaden Thomas. Let him run it. Jalen Glover, also not a horrible play, right? They're probably not going to workhorse their guy 30 carries week 0, right? And that goes for all teams, right? Week 0, we're testing the things out. We're seeing who we have, especially in these blowouts. We're probably seeing a lot of players that, we might not see on a week-to-week basis in divisional play. So Jalen Glover, I think, is a nice pivot off of your non-Thomas teams. Say Jaden Thomas gets 20, right? And Jalen Glover gets 15. I think you'd probably rather have Jalen Glover there, right? They get 3 total touchdowns combined. You might get lucky. Now, if Jaden gets all 3 of them, you're burned, right? Couple receivers down here. Tayshawn Lyons is their number 1. Nothing really special, right? None of these guys really have any pedigree at all. Bennett's their tight end. Nothing special. I think I'm getting all my volume through Mr. Jaden Thomas. So just to round out the slate here, I'm going to give you my top 2 at every position. Another thing I forgot to mention about college football, which might be the best part about it all, you get to play a super flex position. So every lineup that I make throughout the season, 99% of the time is going to be a QB and then a QB in that super flex, right? You get 2 running backs, 3 receivers, and then 1 flex position on top of those super flex and QB. So I'm going to give you a core right here, right? You can throw your 2 QBs in there, throw your 2 running backs in there, throw your 2 wide receivers. You get a receiver and a flex spot left. So I'll try to do this every week just to see a good core out there. I've got Noah Kim and Ashton Daniels. Noah Kim, good value. Ashton, they're scoring 40. How are they going to do it? I'm hoping he's throwing it to my man Deuce Robinson, who's going to be my number one receiver. And then Terrell Anderson, like I said at the beginning of the video, 3,900, team that's scoring 40, wide receiver 2. Why not? Jaden Thomas, the big man, he's going to round it out for me. And then King Miller, I think he's a good value. I didn't go my Ava, so I went King Miller. Terrell Anderson, I think you can get a lot of their points through these two guys alone without getting the quarterback, spending down, getting some value. And, that's how I'm going to try to construct. Last thing on the schedule tonight, I'm going to make a pick'em. I've already got 3 of my favorites right here. King Miller, Micah Ford, and Jaden Thomas. I made this about 30 minutes ago before the stream. And I hope I don't get any movement on my lines, but I want to show you why I ended up with these guys. King Miller, as you can see over here, 71.5 rushing yards. They have not caught up yet, and this is the only one. This is a DraftKings Pick 6, so this is the DraftKings Sportsbooks, a little different, right, than Underdog. They have them at 71.5. This is the only one that's lower than the Underdog streets, because if you can see here, Micah Ford, 99.5. I got him here at 89.5, so 10 yards of value there. I feel like by the end of this week, Micah Ford's probably going to be closer to that 99 number. Jaden Thomas, 76.5. I think that's just ridiculous. I mean, obviously they might split carries, but if you look over here, we got him at 80.5. A 4-yard cushion. I'm going to make that bet that I think we see some CLV, right? So I'm going to put a little bit of money. It looks like King Miller already has been removed, so that's pretty much how this game rolls. If you don't get those in early, you're going to get punished. Not even on the board, so that's pretty sad to see. I can make another one, but I don't want to keep you guys here any longer than need be. So I'll find another one. I'll post it in the chat. But at the end of the day, I'm here to help you guys. And if you've got something for me that you want to see on these streams, or if you have any rebuttals on things I had to say, or if you think I just look ugly, feel free to type it in the chat. Like the stream. Comment on your favorite players. Let's have some fun this year, man. I plan on doing this every week, just for fun, right? I'm not doing this for money. If you want the sheets, let me know. I'll send them over to you. One big thing that I'm doing this year, I'm joining Run Pure, man. So shout out to Run Pure. I bought the annual subscription, which I suggest all you guys do. Bruce and the team over there are absolutely incredible. Their content is top notch. I wanted to show some of their goods on the site, but I haven't got the okay quite yet to do it. So I'm going to wait for their permission to show some of the goods throughout the year. And it's an annual subscription of $200. They have a promo code right now, Forever25. Type that in, you get 25% off, $150 for the whole season. I'm putting in $80 this weekend. I guarantee you I'm getting my $80 back. And if I get a little more, the subscription's paid off, right? So I appreciate y'all hanging out, man. Check out the stream, Chunk the Deuce on YouTube. I'm gonna put this on, a few platforms. I hadn't been too aggressive with my marketing yet, but I do this shit for fun, man, and I appreciate y'all showing up, and I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. Also, I'll be at Lil Wayne 2 Chainz tomorrow night, so that's why I'm doing this a little early. But shout out to the GOAT, shout out to Deuce, chunk 'em up, baby.